Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I'm Scott. You're in the Prog Corner, and today, this series continues, boys and girls, Prog around the globe. Today we're stopping in Japan, a country that is not really well known for its prog rock, but there is some amazing music that's been made in Japan over the last 50 years. They're probably best known for their exports of noise rock and the avant-garde Ryo stuff, but there have been a lot of Zool bands come out of Japan, a lot of symphonic bands, some neo-prog, a lot of jazz rock and fusion. There's even been a lot of electronic, psych, and punk bands coming out of Japan. So we're not talking about mono. They're more post-rock, I guess. We're not going to talk about baby metal. I know a lot of people want to talk about baby metal these days. Tomita, Kitaro, great electronic pioneers. Duran Gray, Stormu Yamashita, Baraka, KBB, Vermilion Sands, Psy, The Gazette, real good band. Bandmaid, those girls dressing around like maids playing metal. But the last four that were not included, which really hurt me, Bondage Fruit didn't make it in. Really cool Zool band, didn't make the cut. Mr. Cirrus, they put out two really cool camel-inflected albums with the great Kazuhiro Miyataki and the singer from Pageant, Hiroka Nagai. Not on the list. Social Tension put out two really good albums in 1989 and 1990. Sounded a lot like ELP, didn't make the list. And finally, Acid Mother's Temple didn't make the list. 63 albums and they still couldn't make the list. I'm sorry, guys. At number 25, it's the great Ryo Okumoto from Spock's Beard. He's got 5 solo albums out. But his most recent, The Myth of the Mostraphus, is the reason he's on this list. Absolutely incredible. He put out 3 albums in 1980, which is weird. To put 3 albums out the same year is bizarre, but he recorded them in 3 different continents. Yeah, Ryo Okumoto, just a monster. I love that guy. At number 24. Let's talk about Ryoichi Sakamoto and Yellow Magic Orchestra. Are they prog? I'm not sure. I don't know, but definitely an electronic pioneer. They put out a whole bunch of really cool albums. Their number 1 rated record on Prog Archives is Technodelic. Yeah, they sound a little like a Japanese version of Kraftwerk. They reformed briefly in 1993 and put out another record, but YMO, really cool. Are they prog? I don't know, but I love them. At number 23, it's Ground Zero. Yeah, this is a rock and opposition band formed in 1990. They put out 5 albums. They are led by Otomo Yoshihide. This dude's a solo artist who's put out like 27 albums on his own. Their number 1 rated album is Consume Red from 1997. It's 57 minutes of one long droning experimental piece. Really cool turntables and samples with brass, very experimental, very strange noise rock. But I really like Ground Zero. At number 22. Something a little bit more normal for your ears. How about Shingetsu, band that put their debut album out in 1979. I'm including them here because they did put out a second album back in 2016. Usually we don't talk about artists with one album, so they actually did make the cut. If you like Genesis, you're going to like Shingutsu, Makota Kitayama. Some people call him the Japanese Peter Gabriel. If you like Mellotrons and 12-string guitars, Shingetsu is a really good band for you. At number 21. Yeah, this is another band that takes its cues from another one of the giants of the UK, and this is Kyo Ran. They're definitely King Crimson influenced here in the number 121 spot here. They put out 6 albums, and I'm spotlighting Go Un from 1995, their 3rd album. If you like guitars and saxophones and trumpets and if you can imagine, King Crimson didn't break up after Red, but they put out a few albums between Red and Discipline. This is kind of where this band follows suit with the great Suma Kunio playing guitars and singing. Very cool band at number 20. How about Typographica? Yeah, this is a band that put out 3 albums. It's Ryo, rocking opposition, but they definitely have a strong symphonic backbone with some Canterbury stuff in there. Picco del Pazzo from Italy is kind of a reference point here. Maybe Henry Cow, Frank Zappa influenced stuff here. But their number 1 rated album is Floating Opera from 1997. If you like sax and trombones and experimental playfulness, you're probably going to like these guys a lot. At number 19, how about OOIOO? This is kind of a spin-off band from the Boredoms. You got Yoshimi Pee-wee, who is the original member of the Boredoms. They started out as a fake band. They did a photo shoot, and I guess Pee-wee was asked to put together like a fake band for a photo shoot. It turned into a real band. It's all female, very tribal drums, very weird, like if the Go-Go's listened to tons of expansionist, experimental music. They put an album out all based on Japanese music. Their last album was based all around Indian music, but their best album was 2006 Taiga. These guys are on Thrill Jockey, so they definitely got lumped in with a lot of the alternative and Indian, the hipster kid bands, so OOIOO comes in at 17 or 19. Yeah, number 18, let's get a little bit more in the symphonic vein with Midas. They dropped their first album in 1988 called Beyond the Clean Air. They put 6 albums out. They're lush, they're symphonic. They're formed in Osaka in 1982. They're led by Igo Uto on vocals and violin, and that violin is real prominent in their music and definitely makes you think of Daryl Way and Curved Air a little bit at times. But I really like Midas. Very cool, traditional, symphonic prog for you fools out there at number 17. Here's another female-dominated band. It's Ars Nova. Yeah, imagine if ELP were all female and they wore S&M costumes. These girls are wearing all their dominatrix stuff and they're looking all cute and stuff, playing Emerson, Lake and Palmer, indebted stuff. They put 7 albums out. They're led by Kiko Kumagai. Oh, she's great keyboard player. I like all their albums, but I'm spotlighting their number 1 rated album, which is The Goddess of Darkness from 1996. If you like ELP and you like Japanese females, why wouldn't you like Ars Nova? And number 16, let's get weird with Happy Family. Oh, yeah, this is a very notable band in the history of Zool music in Japan. They put out 3 albums. Their second album, Tosco, is their highest rated one, came out in 1997. They're extravagant, they're aggressive, they're demented, kind of like if King Crimson met Magma. Before they dropped any albums out, they put 3 cassettes out, which are in real big demand for collectors out there. But Happy Family, very cool. At number 15, one of the originators of the Japanese symphonic sound, it's Novela. These guys put out 8 albums. I'm spotlighting their 4th one, Sanctuary. This band was formed in 1980 in Osaka. They are led by Toshio Gawa, who later on went on to form Gerard, and Teru Sugu Hiroyama, who later on went on to form Teru's Symphonia, which we're going to probably be hearing something about those 2 bands here in a minute. Very symphonic, but with a hard edge to it. Novela was fantastic. At number 14, how about J.A. Caesar? I knew nothing about this guy a year ago. Thanks to some of my fantastic followers and subscribers, you guys have been pointing me in all kinds of bizarre directions and led me right to J.A. Caesar and his incredible album, Kokuyo Junrika from 1973. This guy's real name is Takaki Terahara. He's an actor. He's a composer. I guess this here particular album was derived from over 30 albums of soundtrack music that he had come up with, and they distilled it down into 40 minutes of greatness. It's space rock, it's psychedelic, but with all those Japanese features and characters. And look at that album cover, man. If ever an album cover gave you a clue inside what the music might listen to, that's definitely one. At number 13, the aforementioned Teru's Symphonia. Yeah, this is Teru Tsugu Hiroyama from Novela that we just talked about. They were formed in Osaka in 1983. They put out 7 albums out, and I'm spotlighting their first one, the self-titled album from 1985. It's neo-prog, but there's a lot of symphonic stuff going on here. I really like this band. It's a little indebted to Marillion, but a little bit more symphonic. The only thing that kind of mars these records by Teru Symphonia is the 80s keyboard sounds at times. A little dated, but fantastic. I really like these guys. At number 12, one of the most important and infamous bands in the history of Japanese prog is the Flower Travellin band. Are they prog? Probably more psych than prog. They definitely got that West Coast acid feel going on. So you do hear some Sabbath and some Led Zeppelin. Very blues oriented, but very raw. These guys put out 4 albums in the late 60s. Early 70s, they broke up and reformed. They put one more out, but I am focusing on their classic 1971 album, Satori. Just fantastic. If you like Zeppelin, you'll probably like Flower Travellin Band. At number 11, Pageant makes the list. Yeah, this is a band that only put out 3 albums, but all 3 of them are really, really good. The best of them is La Mosaïque de la Rêverie from 1986. So yeah, this is 80s symphonic prog. I really do like it. Sometimes these guys get compared to Renaissance, and that comparison's fair. Maybe a little more symphonic and less medieval, I guess, than Renaissance. But they are led by Hiroko Nagai, who is the keyboard player and vocalist. She's fantastic. Their third album kind of veered more into Clanad territory, maybe Enya meets Kate Bush kind of stuff, but yeah, Pageant's fantastic. Check them out. At number 10, the mighty Boredoms makes the list. Why wouldn't they make the list? Formed in Osaka in 1986 by Yamataka Ai. I am spotlighting their 1998 album Super AE. Post-hardcore meets cosmic space rock, noise rock, kind of like Sonic Youth, but you got krautrock influences going on here. There have been so many different versions of this band. I guess it's always Yamataka and somebody else, and I don't know. IOO came from this band, spin-off from Boredoms, but definitely one of the weirdest, noisiest bands you're ever going to want to hear. It's Boredoms. They're really cool. At number 9, how about Gerard? Yeah, this is a symphonic band led by Toshio Agawa, who was the keyboard player in Novela. As Gerard, they put out 13 albums. The highest rated one is from 2002 called Size of the Water. Then they disbanded in 2018, but I like their first couple albums best. Personally, the first album came out in 1984, and the second album was really, really good too. Gerard is excellent. Again, Emerson, Lake and Palmer is kind of the reference point here. At number 8, it's the Far East Family Band. Oh yeah, founded in 1972 as Far Out. This band included the great Kitaro as one of its members. They put out 4 albums, and I'm spotlighting 1976's Parallel World. This album's amazing. It comes complete with a brilliant 30-minute title track. It's produced by Klaus Schultze. Yeah, this is a fantastic album where they kind of let some of the Pink Floyd influences, fizzled out a little bit and a little bit more symphonic going on here. Far East Family Band, just fantastic. At number 7, it's Ruins, boys and girls. You talk about a band that went through a lot of lineup changes. This was always Yoshida Tatsuya and another person. They were always a duo, so there were 4 different lineups to Ruins. They put out 17 albums. These guys were formed in 1985, and they're just insane. If you've ever heard Ruins, you've heard Ruins. Your life will not be the same. I'm spotlighting Symphonica from 1998 as their best album, but they're all good. They're all crazy. 17 albums. There's a lot of material to work through. It's challenging music, but it's amazing music. At number 6, How about Outer Limits? Yeah, if you like UK or King Crimson, meets maybe the more delicate side of symphonic prog, like the Enid or PFM. If you like those mellotrons and a violin, that's really the primary instrument, you're going to like Outer Limits. Their best album is their first album, I think, Misty Moon from 1985, but their highest rated album is their fifth album, Strom to Light from 2007. Very orchestral, very beautiful, fantastic stuff. The vocals are mostly in Japanese, but they do some English singing too. Oh, yeah, here we go, boys and girls. It's time for the top 5 prog artists in Japan. At number 5, it's a jazz fusion artist who goes by the name of Hiromi Uehara. And you jazz fusion freaks definitely know who this woman is. She was a protege of Chick Corea, studied under him. So she definitely is of the modern type of jazz fusion, where instead of looking to the standards of the genre, she looks to people like, oh, I don't know, King Crimson and Gentle Giant for her influences. She's recorded solo. She's recorded as the Hiromi's Sonic Bloom, 2 albums as that, including 2007's Time Control, which most people feel is their best album. She's recorded as the Hiromi Trio Project, which includes the great Simon Phillips on drums. Oh, yeah, this girl is amazing. She's got chops for days. If you like jazz fusion with plenty of prog rock baked into the mix, you could do a whole lot worse than Hiromi Uehara. At number 4, oh, it's Asturias, boys and girls. It's Ryo Okumoto's band. He's recorded as Asturias. He's recorded as acoustic Asturias, electric Asturias. I guess he's kind of stuck on the electric Asturias the last few albums, thank God. His number 1 rated album is Missing Piece of My Life from 2015, but I really enjoy all his music. It's almost all instrumental. Mike Oldfield is probably the best reference point here. He started his music career in 1987. And the last album they dropped as Asturias was in 2019, album called Trinity. Really, really strong. I can highly, highly recommend Asturias if you like Mike Oldfield and you like, old school symphonic prog with a lot of Japanese folk elements thrown in there. Just amazing. At number 3, it's Yuka Chronoship. Oh, this is a personal favorite of mine, formed in 2009, led by Yuka Funakoshi, who was a pop singer, involved in a lot of J-pop stuff. And one day, one of her people, a manager or agent or somebody, dropped an ELP record on her desk and said, hey, check these guys out. And I guess her whole career trajectory changed. And she recruited guitar player Takashi Miyazawa, drummer Iko Tanaka, and bass player Shun Tugu. Oh, man. These 4 make a racket like nobody's business. They've dropped 4 albums. First one was okay, Water and Incarnations or whatever. It was all right. But their second, third, and fourth album's amazing. Third, Planetary Chronicles from 2015 is their highest rated album. But I actually think I prefer 2018's Ship. But you can't go wrong with Yuka Chronoship. Just amazing. The riffs these guys come up with, the melodies, they rock really, really hard. They're tight as can be. Oh, yeah, Yuka Chronoship, man. Just incredible. At number 2. Yeah, this is a weird one. Köenji Hyakkei, or however you pronounce them. I'll never get it right. Yeah, this is Tatsuya Yoshida, who we just talked about a minute ago with Ruins, and his Zool band. He formed it in 1991. They've only put out 5 albums, which is kind of surprising to me. Very magma-y. Yeah, they're a Zool band, but they also have a lot of Mr. Bungle in them. You can hear maybe some Primus in them. There's some playfulness going on. It's not just all, just over the top and over your head. There's actually some melodies and stuff you can sink your teeth into with this band. Their highest rated album on Prog Archives is their second album, Viva Köenji, from 1997. And I am trying my hardest to get into this band. I swear I am. I do really appreciate what they're doing, but Zool isn't always at the top of my list. But I've got a band here at number 1 that's going to blow your mind. Yeah, it's Kenso, formed in 1974. Oh, man, these guys have 10 albums out. Very similar to Brand X sometimes. So they are fusiony, but they bring tons of symphonic and neo-prog into what they're doing. There's a lot of Japanese elements. They're a Japanese band when you hear them. Even though they're playing traditional rock instruments, it's crazy how they do that. Their highest rated album is Fabulas Mirabilis de Bombacosi Scriptus from 2002. Their last album came out in 2014. My favorite album from them is 1991's Yume no Oka, but I like all 10 of them. Just an incredible band. Everything they've ever done is really, really great. And I'm really hoping, it's been 9 years since we've had a Kenso album, so maybe they'll come up with album number 11 in 2023. We could hope so. But anyway, Japanese Prog is fantastic. I've been really sinking my teeth into it for the last 2 or 3 years, but there's so much more out there that I have not heard. But this is my list of the top 25 prog rock acts from Japan through the years. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be going somewhere else next week. I wonder where we're going. Are we going to Brazil? Are we going to Norway? Are we going to France? Are we going to Germany? Where are we going, man? I don't know. It's going to be fun. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you had a great weekend. Have a great week, and I will see you guys soon. Peace in the Middle East, and God save the king. God save him. Save that king and Camilla too.